spoke about, you touched on it briefly. I mean, what is your kind of feeling? We've lost two guys in the hip hop game, Ricky Rick and DJ Dimples, most recently, who
DJ
were
City Lights.
DJ City Lights as well, who were heavily in the game, who contributed a lot. DJ Dimples through pop bottles. Ricky Rick, obviously, you mentioned that he put people on, kind of way.
He gave people cosigns, and he didn't charge them a percentage. He gave them that little look that they needed. It's like the industry is a party, and all the artists and celebrities are in VIP. And the only difference between you in VIP and the guy in general is having a tag. And the easiest way to get a tag is to know someone in VIP. And Ricky Rick said, I'm gonna come out of VIP and I'm gonna be the guy that knows everyone. You know what I mean? And to be needed by so many people will kill you.
Because he helped a lot of people. I think there were a lot of tweets that came out.
People say I'm an asshole. I'm not an asshole. I'm a very nice guy. I'm a sweet guy. I'm a generous guy. You know what I mean? It's not just any guy who goes, finds talented kids, that are not related to me or anything else, but believe in them so much that I dedicate my whole entire life into making them millionaires and being able to take their kids to Model C schools and, turn generational poverty into generational wealth. Like one of Questa's cousins died. I didn't even know about it. I found out about it later. Like I gave him my mother's iPhone. Like I bought my mother a new iPhone. I gave him my mother's iPhone. And I remember what happened when my mother got an iPhone and how that opened her up, and she was on social media and started getting on Instagram and started seeing new content, because I was like, I wanted him to be exposed to the world, because he was like a getaway driver, for city heists and all that type of shit. Get off the streets, bro. If we were able to do this music shit and keep your cousin off the streets, also, like, the worst thing would be for you to have to go back to the streets. COVID came, gigs slowed up. I don't know what happened. Obviously he wasn't getting any driving gigs, got caught up in some shit, and he had to go. Sure. The exposure to just like the information and everything else, like on the internet, like that saved everybody. Ricky is the guy who bled for that. He got banned on Metro FM for that. You know what I mean? And I told him, dog, I went at 5 FM. Motherfucker, you went for black people? And the worst part about it is that I made him do it.
For real?
I screamed. I screamed at him.
Oh.
I screamed at him. Like, I was like poking him on his chest. We're outside the Metro FM Awards thing. Cool. Obviously, we're taking losses. Mabalano is cleaning us out that night, and we know it. So, like, every time it's about to be our category, I was still smoking cigarettes at the time. I'd call Sandra and say, yo, let's do smoke break. Just to spare him the watching it happen, So I timed it perfectly every time. I knew, okay, this is the category that we're using again. Okay, shut up. Smoke break, smoke break, smoke break. So you just came here to perform, dog. That's what I told him. I said, bro, you just came here to perform. You're taking it on the chin. It is what it is.
Sure.
And the nicest thing about that is that Reese was there that night, and he watched us the whole entire time. And I was watching a younger generation just studying and watching him, just watching, study, and thinking to myself that guy sees that the way we did it with Questa, we built it up slowly. And that's why I was able to sustain that way, and that's why we were able to like have a grip on our own audience for so long. So, I know the youngin picked up notes that night as well on how to lose gracefully. I was angry. I was angry, and I had another open letter. I had an open letter from Metro already.
Ready to go.
I had it ready to go. I had already typed it up in my notes. I think I might still have it in my notes. It's probably still here. Let me switch. So, and I confronted Ricky outside, because now he parked his fucking Mabala noise bus right next to our Rap Life bus stop. And I'm like, dog, on the night that you guys are doing this to us, dog, and we are your homies. So I understand you're in Team Mabala, but dog, we're your niggas, dog. Don't do it like that. Park that bus somewhere else. Seriously, dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yo, the nigga turned down, got into the car, parked somewhere else. Next time I saw him, the nigga was on stage talking about how if niggas are gonna buy these awards, we don't want it.
Yeah.
And I looked at my phone and I thought I opened it. I was like, okay. We don't need that anymore. But at that point in time, I was like, okay, fine. We're ready to not need Metro FM. He took that bullet, we didn't. I was ready to take it though. I was ready for it. You know? Yeah, he took that bullet. And that was the bullet that needed to be, like, my open letter was like, you know, I was about to say, yo, the internet is
Do you think it achieved a lot? Because, I mean, it has
inspired. It inspired 90%. That open letter inspired 90% because Saudi then knew, okay, I could have a populist movement.
Okay.
I can give these artists 90% and then they all love me. And anyone who wants to fire me is like, oh, this guy gave us 90%. He's still missing 90%. And look how that inspired local content to be, more local content to be produced, whether it be on TV, everywhere. He made it possible for everybody to produce local content. Saudi is like, yo, genius. Because everybody's producing local content now. And now local music is right at the top of the charts on Apple Music and everything else. You understand what I'm saying? That's Saudi, dog. He listened to that open letter that I had and everything else, and he knew that the power is through this platform. You need to put these young, talented kids, they need the power of 5FM. They need the power of being seen by these brands and everything else. You know, and because of Ricky, you know, because he had, you know, good networks and good connections. He went to AFDA, you know, which is a dope film school. So like some of the best advertising DOPs and whatever went to school with him. You know, your Adrian Lowe's and stuff like that. So, you know, those are their projects for their homies. You look at Ricky's videos. I mean, it's few locations, but the scenes, the shots. Understand? You understand? Like, imagine knowing that just a jacket is enough to fuck up a video. So you can spend 200k on it because that song is gonna it's gonna be making 200k a weekend.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So, like, man, like, that's the thing about Ricky, is that he was the one guy that I could always speak to and say, bro, let's stop with the whole fighting thing and clicking thing. Let's work together and keep it growing so that we can teach the next kids that they need to work together and keep it growing. Because the reason why we don't respect our OGs is because they fell off. And they fell off because they weren't working together and they didn't keep the money amongst themselves. And once you don't have money, you've fallen off. Seriously, once you don't have money, that's you understand? People start sending donations to you. You know what I mean? Or it looks like you don't have money, or you're not gigging as much. You know what I mean? It's like you could be sitting in your house and everything else, and then people will force you, yo, take our donations.
There's all a certain thing.
You know, we feel sorry for you. We feel guilty that we haven't supported you, so therefore you must take our donations now. Okay? You must be our charity case. We don't care if you're Zola 7. You belong to us. And I'll send you a young 10 rand. That's the best I can do.
That's a donation.
Just imagine the disrespect, dog.
How do you feel about that whole thing? And now it's
just imagine just imagine the disrespect, dog. The disrespect. He asked Mamkiza for help almost a year ago. She blue ticked him. Dog, the whole entire thing. You saying, how do I feel about this thing? This thing started with me. I was having a conversation on Twitter with my homie Colbert, and I said, yo, the homie's not well. He hasn't been well. He's got epilepsy. He's sick. And I said, you know, the saddest thing is that he's got 7 kids. I'm not worried about him and him not being well and, you know, what we can see. I'm worried about the 7 kids because every time I see a picture of Zola, I take a video, I don't see his kids. You understand what I'm saying? I don't see a father. I don't see the family values.
I didn't even know he had 7 kids.
That Ricky Rick was rapping about. You know what I mean? You don't see him like Ricky Rick carrying his kids all over his timeline. You know? So, that's the thing, Ricky. I don't want to end up like Jabba, my nigga Flubber. Take a kitchen knife to the heart before they love you. I don't want to be in my E at 43. That's Ricky. I don't want to end up like Jabba. I don't want to end up like Jabba. Like, past your peak, and now everyone's forgotten you. Even this kid that you put on is now the biggest rapper in the country, and he doesn't even answer your calls sometimes. You're going through whatever, schizophrenia, bipolar, substance abuse, you name it. All in a cocktail. From the highest heights, like WHP. That's the epitome, of like brands. Like, that's where we saw, okay, clean. Bigger than Mendoza, if you ask me, from a brand perspective. Jabba, hanged himself. Tried the first time, motherfucker so fat, the rope snapped.
I can't, you're smiling at me, but I can't,
He lived.
I can't.
I'm talking about the time that he survived.
I know.
You understand? Because, like, if I talk about the day he perished, Ricky did not want to end up like that. He didn't want to do it past his peak. You look at my nigga Flabba, take a kitchen knife to the heart before they love you. Like, Flabba did everything. He's the guy that put Squatter Camp on. There's no Squatter Camp without Flabba. And therefore, yes, you got this new Squatter Camp album, but there's no Flabba, so the rest shut the fuck up. Seriously, there's no Flabba, the rest shut the fuck up. Play the catalog music. That's it. You don't need to be making new music. And this music is bringing down your brand. It's making you look like lames. You drop a new thing, it doesn't even chart and everything else. You're taking down your legendary name. And the music is not at the same quality as these young kids who are making music. So why are you taking out their oxygen?
Do you not feel there's space for everyone though?
No, there isn't. We know that there isn't. What do you mean? If there was space for everyone would be on. We know that there isn't. Come on. You know what I mean? There isn't space for everyone. There's only space for the lucky ones, the chosen ones. That's the thing. You need to know someone who's got a tag. You need to know someone to be a chosen one. You need to know someone who's in the VIP, who's going to get you from general admission into clinic.
But you've got guys like Dos who just blow up.
You had a platform. The song, Clean, and then everybody knew him.
Gotcha.
And once they knew him, they got connected, and then Clean.
Everybody's.
And then he had something to give them, like a hit, and everybody wanted to jump on the bandwagon. And you put them all on, so now they all have to perform the song everywhere they go at all their gigs. And they all do. And then that makes the song even bigger.
Yeah.
And now he's got a chance to work on his album. So Ricky didn't want to end up, passing his peak. So he took himself out of his peak. He just got the thingamajig deal. And like, for me, the saddest part is like, when I saw that video of him and his girl, B, I was like, what the hell did this nigga do? This girl so sad, like distraught, like this nigga did some terrible, like some despicable, something foul. And I don't understand why he's dancing in this video, but this nigga did something despicable, foul, I don't know what it is. And it's not gonna help cheer her up. So yeah, man, that's the same one we heard that Sunday City Lights was killed, murdered, you know what I mean? And Ricky posts, bought like 3,000-4,000 rands worth of t-shirts, RIP City Lights. In the midst of the sadness on Valentine's Day that's happening. So I'm like, was this nigga planning to go out on Valentine's Day? You know what I mean? I mean, that would be a legendary day or whatever. And then, when was he planning to go out 222? Because that's also, Yeah. And then what delayed him? To make it 223. You're just wondering because like a guy who wears a 200,000 rands jacket in a music video and knows it, just that jacket alone is going to shut everything down.
Yeah.
That's not just anybody, that's a fucking mastermind.
Mm.
I didn't call out anybody else from my brother. I didn't go to Nasty. He was sitting around. I saw them with the crew. I didn't go. I spoke to Ricky because that's my nigga. I can speak to him. I can tell him the truth. Like, yo, this shit that my brother's doing, fucked up. Understand? Clean, did his thing, and then he left. He left my brother. He said, I didn't need them. Clean, cut ties, cut losses, moved on. And did his thing. I was like, yo, dog, don't get yourself tainted in these things. Because these things, they'll leave you indebted and everything else. And now you look at Nasty C right now. And look that, he's only 25. But he's past his peak.
You really feel like that?
Observe. Not position is young on the charts. Blackie,
he's still quite high,
there's not enough room for everybody to be on. There's that gap for the American wannabe kid, right? And then there was a beef between A. Reese and Thing, right? So there's only the two of them that are on. Nobody else, right? Okay, cool. At some point in time, Shane Eagle got lucky with that album, that that Yellow, that one hit song and everything else, and ended up winning a Sama and everything. But he wasn't within that crew. It was just between these two, right?
Yeah.
Everybody else that was a pretender to the throne, they all fell off.
So you don't rate the
none of the
new
guys
kids
made
in
it.
the new wave?
None of the new wave made it to the level that Reese and Nasty made it. Let's be honest, right?
You think but don't you think Costa's coming?
Costa's not new wave. Costa has been in the game since Casper Dancing days. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's not new wave. And the guy that he writes with, what's his name?
Phantom Steez.
He's been since DJ Cleo Blackson days and all that shit. So he's been around.
Sure, it's kind of depressing, dude.
It's Blackie, dog.
Yeah.
Like Blackie, like his EP is still doing well. You know what I mean? Like, just let's be honest.
You don't even see Lucas raps there.
Nah, I bumped into Lucas Raps the other day. Again, he fell into the trap that I tried to warn them not to get into. It's like, you'll flash with all this money for a moment, and then you're not there anymore. And then the people that saw you when you were there and they were celebrating you are now all dissing you. First, there were people that were celebrating you and others that were skeptical. Now, 100% are like...
It's changed for him like that.
I'm just saying, we don't see the, big stepper, new Mercedes, what, drop top, what. We're not seeing the flex from the timeline. You understand? Other kids are in Europe.
Blackie, yeah.
The Focalistics. No.
Focalistic.
Who was the nigga who people were looking at me like I'm crazy and I was saying Focalistic is going to be touring Europe and Nasty is going to be sitting right here at home.
I remember.
You watch.
I remember.
What's happening right now?
He's in Paris.
He's on the Champs-Elysees. He's in London. He's in Ireland, Dublin. You understand? He's doing the whole entire UK. He was out there to close the show with Davido at a sold out O2 Arena.
Yeah.
Champion sound. Wow. So you understand what I'm saying? And that's because of the sound, the sonic, you understand? And that sound wouldn't have been hot had it not been for Good. Because Good brought back the Kwaito sound and like proper. Like people say, no, Karakara. I was like, nah, you guys, nah. That's the thing that you guys don't understand. That is trap.
Karakara.
It's trap, dog.
How so?
Listen to it. That's the 808 drum. That's the motto, dog. You sing the motto.
Kind of fucking man. You don't get it right.
So does that then mean that
it's the same beat. It's the way the beat is structured, dog. In the same BPM range, the same intro. What are we saying? Okay, now just because you use your Fruity Loops from an IP address in Africa, it's not trap.
Oh man.
So and that's why it was in the trap bubble. It's a groove again, go. You understand? It had the white classic style. It was exactly what we did with Boom Shakalaka. We did that before. We done Karakara before. We did it Boom Shakalaka 2012. Done that before. You understand? Just that it didn't have the whole entire white door.
Yeah.
The synths that you're adding, just the feels to make it sound like, you know what I mean?
I get
Like that
you.
old TS record sound, or that old DJ Cleo sound, just to give it a little bit, but it's just trap, you know, essentially.
So from a new wave hip hop sound, you're not messing with anybody. You don't see anybody that has the potential besides Black Hip.
I mean, I bigged up Costa while he was doing his thing, you know, they told niggas that he's a gimmick, but you're gonna see him, he's going to do this thing, he's gonna last in the game. People are gonna, he's going to grow in the game quicker than a lot of black artists who are not attaching themselves to their own identities. He's gonna, and look what he's doing now, he's even switching up the sound.
Yeah.
Dog, I've been in his DM saying, yo, see now this Yano sound, that's the one.
You've been pushing the Yano sound, dude.
But
How do you feel about
so broad.
How do you feel
It's
about
so broad.
Benny
It's-
Chill
it's-
and
it's-
AKA's new song? That's a Yano sound. Have you heard it?
No,
Ngozi.
okay, but I've been talking to Benny Chill. I've been telling.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've been talking to the kids. I sat them down. I sat them down before I took Storiti down. I sat them down that day.
Yo, Nota, these bars, bro. Hey, bro, I don't want to laugh, dog. Hey, show me.
I'm just saying. I told them, forget this American wannabe shit. Let me prove it to you. Let me take down Storiti first. See, took down Storiti. Clean. You got no American wannabes to be scared of. If I've taken down Storiti, I've taken down all of them.
But there is, just to play devil's advocate, bro. You know, as South Africans, we've been listening to hip hop music in terms of like the American sound, whatever. So you can't fault guys for
No, we can't.
emulating.
No,
it.
you're smarter than that. You're smarter than that, guys. Come on. You're smarter than that.
Yeah.
Guys, come on. You're smarter than that.
But listen.
No. You're smarter than that, guys. Come on. Like,
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
guys,
for
come on.
in the room.
Yeah, a few times.
I mean, SDC's been listening to.
No, but why?
I heard your chat.
He's got data. Why can't he listen to my willies? Go. Because that's what's inspiring. I'm
But you want
listening
him
to
to
my
lie.
right now.
You want him
It's not
to
about
lie.
lying. Dog, it's all around him in Durban, in Ilobo, where he was. But what did he do? He chose to tune out. He chose to transport himself to another country using the internet because he wouldn't be faced with the reality of his own surroundings and didn't identify himself as part of his own surroundings and couldn't see the beauty in that so he could reflect that. Questa saw the beauty in Katlehong in K1. There's no fucking beauty in K1. It's flat. There's not a hill, clean, Agnes DP the K1. Clutch yakho safe. Safe clutch. Awudingi handbrake. Dingi handbrake K1. But I flat, but I can't flat, but I saw. I said, that's the first thing I noticed when I got to K1. I was like, niggas, y'all saw this like flat.
Shout out to K1.
Niggas are like, what do you mean? I'm like, y'all never noticed? Like, like we're at this level. I mean, the only time like we rise up is like when we're crossing over the railway track.
Oh man.
Like, you understand?
Okay, so
Ngase guidance. You know what I mean? There's like, dog. Or or as you're coming up before the ShopRite, there's like a little hill. I think it's crossing over the train tracks. But other than that, K1 is flat. Why? Because it was an airfield, dog. That's where the original Jan Smuts airport was. It was flattened to be an airfield. The landing strips are war airfield. And the first World War, yeah. So, you know, I never knew that. I was like, so they found a place that was just already naturally flat and everything else. And that's why they moved Jan Smuts airport in Watertambo to close by in the East Rand because it's flat. Whereas everywhere else in Joburg is hills and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Joburg is very much like Los Angeles. Like it's big, but it's big. Los Angeles is so big, dog. I've never seen a city that big. It's just so expensive. It's crazy. You understand? So there's palm trees in Durban. Nasty C hasn't seen even 0.00001% of LA. LA is huge, dog. And I went to LA, dog. I was with Jamie Foxx. And I said, right here. The guy that woke me on was Brian. The guy was dancing in the back of Teddy Riley when he was doing verses. That's the guy that woke me into the club. That guy runs the lifestyle scene. That's Jamie Foxx's best friend and everything else.
Yeah.
We were standing in the line. The bouncer said, yo, club is closed. Everybody turn back. I'm about to turn back. The guy I'm with says, nah, just chill. Rian walks in. The guy just screamed right now in front of my face. That was close. People turned back. White people turned back. And then some black guy walks up and then he opens the thing and then we get in. Oh, clean. Everybody looks like a Jenner, a Kardashian in the club. Poppy. Guess who jumps into the DJ decks to perform? Travis Scott. Clean. Travis Scott jumps on the DJ decks. Clean. Ooh. Dope. Alright, clean. Okay, Michael Blackson comes into the DJ decks and he tells the DJ, play some Afrobeats, starts playing. Yeah. All the big Niger songs. I'm like, ooh, all we need is an ambassador like Michael Blackson. But ambassadors like that, say, okay, so that's how we infiltrate and we can get into LA, but we just need a sound that can beat this Afrobeat.
Okay.
Because if already naturally the inclination to dance is a lot more better with our sound than their sound, our songs are hitting the dance floor harder. Okay, so there's potential here. I'm in LA at that point in time. Clean, go to this other pizza restaurant, like in I think it's on something Boulevard. I don't know, in West Hollywood. And it's like a pizza joint, but like they put tables all around the corner, outside the restaurant in buildings that are closed because that's how close the restaurant is. Put a table inside. Eating this pizza, cracking up, thinking of this master plan. That time, I'm supposed to be with AKA at that point in time, but like AKA, he's seen LA, been there, and these are his people that are showing me around, being shown VIP style, whatever. You know, and I'm thinking, I'm like, bro, we can take this thing. You know, clean. That point in time, in the back of my mind, all I'm thinking is like, I'm just here to, you know, introduce Shoma Josie to some label hits, right? Because she's about to win a BET. That's what I've been telling everybody this whole entire weekend. I mean, I'm like, yeah, don't worry. BET, guess me, trust me, she's gonna be the first one to win an award while everybody's on the red carpet. You guys must look out for her. That's what I'm saying. The whole time, just running the game. The guy I'm supposed to meet up with from RCA is now at Def Jam in the States. Tunji. It's too busy. It's BET weekends. He's too busy. I go to the Beverly Hills Hotel where we used to that. An event there, Culture Creators. Go there, we're not on the guest list, gate crash. Yeah. We tried, dog. Yo, these are top people in the States. Now we're trying to get onto the guest list. I see Sylvia Rowan there before, while the, you know, red carpet interviews. I walk up to her, she's the head of Epic. I say, yo, there's this brilliant, talented artist who's about to win a BET tomorrow. Her name is Shoma Josie from South Africa. I'd like to introduce you to her and her team and everything else. So I exchange contacts, so I was clean, sharp. And look out for her, she's gonna win tomorrow. Cool, sharp. I don't even have a way into this party, but I got the connection that I wanted.
Yeah.
I got Sylvia fucking Rowan, bro. You understand?
Yeah.
Shit. But, you know, Sony paid for my flights and they were sending me to meet up with this RCA guy. But, hey,
you gotta do what you gotta do.
he didn't make it. He was too busy running around doing things, you know, hosting parties and shit like that as well. And I can't knock him, he's busy. And he's busy with Normani. That's his artist. So I was thinking about, okay, there's no way he's going to now divide his attention between Normani and the music. Yeah. You know, so I wait there. Kanti, one of the guys who works with Leo Cohen, the guy from Def Jam, the guy who was running around the Jay-Z, and then Dave Dash, the guy was right underneath him in YouTube Music, Chuma Basa. Yes, he arrives late. The entire, everybody's inside. Just me and Sam left this lady on the guest list, and we're not on the guest list, she knows. Chuma gets there, and they say, okay, clean. And I say, okay, are they with you? And Chuma, obviously I know him, he's my nigga. He's like, yeah, no, they're with me. He's like, yeah, now we're going in. Let us in. So we get this table that's on the upper side, you know, that there's lower deck tables. Dog, Sylvia Rowan was sitting at the lower deck tables of the VIP. She was the guest of honor the last year. This year that I went to was Byron Allen, the guy who owns the Weather Channel. You know what I mean? One of the biggest black moguls in media. You know what I mean? So Sylvia Rowan sitting at this table here, dog, she could not take her eyes off me. I'm wearing that pink floral Tonga, like regalia type shirts that I had made custom, thanks to my wife, you know, who made sure I looked dapper. Dog, That whole entire dog. When I saw her and she looked at me, she's like, "Okay, oh, this is South Africa. Okay, oh, you guys are Tsonga. Oh yeah, no, we're very colorful people. And when you meet Shoma, just trust me, she's much more colorful than me. Done. Dog, she couldn't take her eyes on me, dog. The whole entire time. And this is still when I still had the dreads and everything else, but like, you know, it stuck in her mind. She was like, yo, let's make that call. And then I got a flight back to New York. I got a flight to New York after the awards. You know what I mean? I left her there, you know, after she collected the award. I congratulated her. Said, it's cool. I'm gonna connect your management to these guys from Epic and they'll seal the deal. I went to New York. I was working there for like a couple of weeks, spent like 3 weeks there, then came back to Jersey. When I come back to Jersey, I hear, ew, apparently you set up a bidding war there in the States. I'm like, bidding war, yeah, because now Epic and RCA are both gunning for Jersey. Jersey. I'm like, that doesn't make sense because that guy, RCA guy didn't meet with me or whatever. You know what I mean? So, sure, then calls me, she's like, yo, these motherfuckers didn't even have like, they Googled me in the room. She was angry. Yeah, the Epic team, the guys that I sold it to the area. So, hey dog, so I called a manager immediately. I said, yo bro, trust me, I understand they weren't prepared or anything else, but please take a second meeting with them. They'll do better next time. They did better the next time, and then that was the deal. And then yeah, Shoma Josie became, you know, first South African artist to be signed to Epic. And then a management team weaseled their way deeper into Epic because obviously they're based in New York. And then they signed Tyler, who had just one song out, to Epic, and now she's working with Will I Am.
Yeah.
You know, to make an Amapiano pop album.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was partially recorded in Dubai. And I think to myself, imagine if champagne was made in Stellenbosch. It would be champagne or sparkling wine.
Sparkling, yeah.
So what is Dubai piano? Like sense to nowadays. Those are the days of our lives.
We can tell what Nota thinks about the project that's going to come out. So.
Nah, look, I mean, all the best to it. But I mean, like, that's not how you do business. Like, I connected you with Sylvia Rowan and whatever. And yes, okay, fine. Even this necessary manager is now helping them from an Africa perspective via ACA. They've partnered up with Shoma Josie's ex-management. But I mean, bro, I don't give you a plug, I do the work, and then you treat it like that. And then what happens is that it's the same thing that happened when Spare Naves bought that beat.
Nothing happens.
Unfortunately, my ancestors just like they hate watching me getting screwed over.
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, unfortunately, you know, you have to deal with that. But I mean, that gave me a lot of experience, and then like I realized, okay, fine, my talent is the deal making. I can sell the deal, I can show the value.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was like, okay, fine, I'm taking up this role at Orchard to be the director, setting up their offices in Africa, South Africa in particular, you know, which is the biggest market in Africa anyway, by market share. And that gave me access to the game from a high level. I got to meet the CEO of Sony Music, Rob Stringer, personally. I have a convo with him. I got to meet Georgia Smith as well, link up with her management. That's why even when she dropped that Amapiano song, I was able to connect Maporisa with her management so that it could be fixed. And yeah, it was fixed, right?
Yeah,
man. So, you know, that's my girl Georgia. Yeah. And, you know, like, it's all about connecting the dots now. Like, I guess, like, guys like Ricky paved the way in terms of like teaching us that we can plug each other and still win. You know, Major League needs to now continue that a lot more. You know, and I'm sure they'll continue doing that. You know what I mean? It's not like we've lost everything. And yeah, man, we've still got like the memories of the collective history of South African music that has happened since post democracy. Or since I was born in 1990, you know what I mean? Like, and that is the backbone of the sound that is today, you know what I mean? So it's been passed down well from generation to generation, And now this new generation is innovating at another rate of knots. And I think we've successfully eliminated the gatekeepers. I mean, there was a point in time where you couldn't drop a deep house song, which would be a hit if Black Coffee didn't like it.
That deep.
And then what happened with Osama? He didn't like it.
Didn't matter.
And that made it number one. Because they said, okay, so Swabisa. Or Swamati. Zex made sure with that one. He was like, you know what, I'm gonna put a whole album behind it, but I'm just gonna do this one song and this one song only. This one song is gonna do everything. You know what I mean? I'm a bit disappointed they got lazy at the end. It's like, yes, you got the melodies, but put lyrics to the fucking song. Nah, dog. No.
But it's a vibe.
No, I respect Zex, but nah. That's one thing that he didn't put lyrics to it. He could have put it in another language. Is the one thing that actually makes it a serious, proper song. You can't have a song that's saying nothing, bro. You can't. Then let it be an instrumental then.
There's a point.
Like, you can't have it not saying anything, dog. It's like, nah. So, I mean, that's why it's not even a hit right now. That song could have been global. Imagine if they sang it in Spanish. Imagine if it was a Spanish song. In Latin America, it would have gone everywhere. You know what I mean? Because they would have had the words to understand it. They would have had the lyrics, you know? And all that's needed is South Africa to provide the dance. Because we saw that our dances go viral globally. We did it with Jerusalem.
Facts, yeah.
And then Amapiano. And then Amapiano dance videos get billions of views on TikTok. And then we realize that, the dancing culture. And then you watch Major League balcony mixes of late and you're like, ish, they're now big events. There's no more the dancing, no more at a house in Alex where these guys are really breaking it down. It's just chill, it's a small anyana thing. And the kids in Europe are watching these dance moves and thinking, shit, let me catch this, let me practice this. I'm gonna shut shit down when I get to, Soho. That's the thing that they don't see. Like, it's all about the dance.
Yeah.
We're about the dance culture.
Yeah.
If you listen to what I said, if you look from the 90s, what happened? All these, the triple nines and all that were dance guys.
Yeah.
The nigga. You understand? So, like, it's just so disappointing. But I hit them up. I sent them a text the other day. I said, yo, come on, get a dance crew or something, but let's make sure that balcony mix has got lots of dancing. The dancing is the most important thing when it comes to Amapiano.
No, that's true.
The most important. It's
TikTok.
everything. It's everything. It's everything. Because they don't understand the lyrics, bro.
Yeah.
They're moving. You understand? And because of the dances, they don't need to understand the lyrics. They can move anywhere in the world. And Amapiano is our K-pop. It's what's going to market South Africa to the world.
I've heard you say that quite a few times.
Dog, what marketed America to the world? Hollywood, right? Yeah, we don't have the budget to create a Hollywood. We don't have the war because Hollywood was created by the American military. Hollywood, I mean, who paid for Transformers? That movie. All of these movies, they've all got military, the military is involved in all of these movies. You think that's just there? That's product placement because they paid for the movies.
Really?
Yeah, the military industrial complex sells itself on Hollywood. That's its biggest marketing tool. So if we're going to sell South African tourism, we need to be selling our music videos, our culture and everything else because that's our biggest marketing tool is that we can, like, as a country, we've got so much in such a confined space, in a space the size of Texas, you can see the whole of the United States of America in terms of the landscape variety.
I believe you because I know that the military sponsored a gaming team, a Call of Duty team in America in terms of trying to get new recruits and things like that. So, but yeah, it makes sense what you're saying.
So the military, that's why they said, I mean, every single movie the American military wins since yesterday. Oh, what is that? Not brainwashing. So that you were not as Osama bin Laden while watching movies. You never try. They slaughtered my family and all I need to do is make the god bleed. And what happened? After those Twin Towers came down, people thought, okay, fine, we can go in America. Terrorist attacks came, rained in, clean, and now what happened? They've had to, after 20 years, run away from Afghanistan and leave it. And they've left it in a mess. Everywhere they've left a bloody mess. So the moral authority that we're bringing democracy and everything else has failed everywhere dismally. You cannot force democracy. It's democracy. If it's democracy, we have to choose it, right?
Mm.
Right? Exactly. So like, how are you forcing democracy with bombs? You know, I mean, it makes no sense. You're gonna make people hate democracy. You're gonna associate democracy with bombs because this democracy came with bombs and burnt down our cities and everything else. You know, so that's the thing. Democracy brought bombs to UK because they were trying to expand NATO. You know what I mean? And trying to start a revolt against, you know, the center, which is Russia. And at the end of the day, you know, the Zulus didn't rule KwaZulu-Natal. They didn't own it. Yes, they're the majority people inside there, but there's Indian people who came there as slaves, you know, to work on the sugarcane fields. First, there's the European settlers, you know, the British and everything else. So it's all mixed, and it's actually run by the British settlers. So they can't even claim that as their own because the part of it that they have, that's with the settlement that they had with the British to say, okay, let's not go to war. We'll give you this much land, all the rest of the land, we're taking it, we'll be farming it on all this land, and all your people, they'll starve so much they'll have to come and work on our mines. And they'll come far and wide. And if they don't come, we've got brothers coming in from Malawi, Stimela, from Mozambique, we've got Zimbabwe. Understand?
Yeah.
We've got them coming in. They're coming in. Some of them are coming in from Congo. It's a war zone over there. So wherever there's destabilization of governments, right, people are not able to settle on their land, sustain their lives and everything else, and then they need to join the slave labor.
Yeah.
Because the slave labor means we're paying you just enough to stay employed. That's it. You paid enough just to stay employed, you know. And we were sold this whole entire system like, no, we must encourage small businesses and capitalism and the free market and everything else. The United States is the most communist country in the world.
What makes you say that?
What do you mean? What innovation have they had that is not paid for by their government? Even the vaccines were fully paid for by the government. And the government still doesn't own the IP. Operation Warp Speed. It was a government. Military Defense Production Act was invoked, and then they were making things. The military was making all the masks and everything else for the companies and everything. And all those companies churning profits and everything else. Stimulus checks. Everybody got Donald Trump's signature signed on it.
That's a deeper conversation, Nota.
It's not a deeper. Do you know how he did it?
Yeah.
Do you know how he did it?
No?
He did it to tell them that the vaccine leaked from a lab in China. Yeah. Said, I can go up there and tell them I've seen the secret confidential documents. Dr. Fauci was involved in the program for gain of function research at the Wuhan virology lab. And that's where this virus comes from. It leaked from there. There was no wet market. That was all a decoy. They all knew. They always knew. And they were just doing that so that they could buy themselves enough time to conceal evidence. And then they couldn't do it on Chinese soil anymore. And then they had a big problem. Yes, okay, fine, these vaccines, we're making these vaccines, but these people are not taking these vaccines. It's not that these vaccines don't work, they work perfectly fine. But we can't get them in people's arms. Fuck. Fucked. What are we gonna do? Shit. Let's do it again. No. Make it weaker. Where? Let's do it in South Africa. Got a crisp lab there. Yeah, cool. I mean, they've already been coming up with all these new variants, so when a new variant comes out of South Africa, no one's going to question it and investigate its actual source. Did we ever fully investigate the source? We just said it's a mutation, but then we got told that it wasn't a mutation. The way it shows, Omicron cannot be a mutation from the original COVID strain. It's not a mutation of any of the strains before, the Alpha, the Beta, the Delta, whatever. It's not any of it. It's weaker, it doesn't attack the lungs anymore. It's got more spike proteins, it's like the guy was in a lab and saying, okay, more spikes. It's infect people faster. The spikes are the infectious thing. Right? And then Bill Gates then goes into a public platform in Munich like a month ago and says, yeah, well, I mean, we had a problem with the vaccines, but the Omicron variant has become more like an inoculation system because it gives both the T cell and the B cell antibodies. And the T cell antibodies are the ones that kill the virus. So if it gives you T cell antibodies, then what is it? Is it a virus or is it a vaccine that you don't need to inject? Because they said that they're working on research to actually have a vaccine that you don't need to inject.
So
And then people thought, that maybe they're gonna make a vaccine pill. Have you seen vaccine pills? They're terrible. You have to take them for like 30 days. I've had like anti-AIDS vaccine pills. I take them for like 30 days. Almost killed me. Nah, you don't want to take vaccine pills though. That's why injection was like injection once job vaccine, because vaccine pills is a whole entire program. People are gonna drop out before the 30 days is up and everything else. So there was no way we were making vaccine pills. They learned from AZT, the anti-AIDS drug, that that's not gonna work. So they even reduced it to 3 pills. You take them over 3 days. The PrEP. Take them over 3 days. Yeah, exactly. There used to be the post and pre-exposure. Take them over 3 days. Either way, 72 hours. Imagine, it used to be 30 days. So they reduced it down to 72 hours. So are you telling me that they're going to do a 72-hour vaccine pill as the next innovation? No.
Silas, you're in the medical industry, bro. You weigh in on
No, I'm listening. I haven't heard the
What I'm saying is just the gain of function research can be done at our CRISP labs. And we're the only people who've got the CRISP technology in Africa. The fact that we cannot find a trail of where this origin came from, you can't see that a species jump or anything for Omicron, or even the original COVID virus.
Even the original.
Where did it come from? We checked every single animal in the wet lab and every single animal in the sky that flew past, and everything. We checked everything. We checked the sewers. We checked the sewage systems. All we found, we didn't find that this thing jumped from a species. There's no evidence. It's been 2 years.
They've made claims.
There's no evidence. It's been 2 years, and that's the only thing that is needed to exonerate China. Right? Do you think that in the 2 years, if China had the evidence to exonerate themselves, they wouldn't have produced by now? No. There's no need to produce it by now. Because Dr. Fauci paid for it. The NHI was paying for it, so they need to keep the secret together, both of them.
I think it's a good time to remind our viewers that the opinions expressed by
No. Look,
Okay.
at the end of the day, I haven't expressed opinions. I'm just saying, let's take some speculation. Okay, we cannot find any species that Omicron jumped from. We cannot find where it comes from. We know that it's not directly related to the COVID strands that we've got already. So what could it possibly be when there's already a technology that is being worked on called gain of function, which can easily make a new variant, and it's available in South Africa where this variant comes from. Like, out of all the places where this variant could come from, it comes from a country where they've got the CRISP, and it was like they don't know whether it's South Africa or Botswana, but the guy went from South Africa to Botswana. It's a labyrinth. Now we knew granular stories of like the first guy that got infected with this variant, which countries he crossed, how all of a sudden the media knows so much about who's a patient one. When there's thousands of new patients that are being infected every single day, and you're only getting to find out which variant it is after you do the blood analysis afterwards. I was very quick to, okay, but no, let's not ban South Africa. Oh no, the rich countries, let's not ban South Africa. Bill Gates and Melinda Gates Foundation, the ones who fund our CRISP labs here. Let's not ban South Africa, let's not shut that down. Okay, they shut us down for a little bit just to check that it works. Okay, it works. It works. Is it works? Is it safe? Is it killing people in South Africa? Oh no, it's not killing people. It's not there. Death rates are low. So it worked. South Africa was a test subject because we're the first one with the high case rate, everything. It's like we're the ground zero for Omicron. And we proved to the rest of the world that Omicron is nothing to be scared of. And what happened to the stock prices everywhere in the markets? They said, yo, apparently South Africa, Omicron is nothing to be scared of. The stock market went. People said it's endemic. Why? Stock markets, who's on the stock markets? These big companies. So these big companies are like, okay, clearly that little experiment they were doing in South Africa worked. Let's pump the markets, buy stocks, clean. We're out of this. We're done, we did it! Vaccine or no vaccine, you're gonna get either a vaccine or you're gonna get Omicron, and you're gonna get your T cells, and then you're gonna be safe. It's endemic, we're good.
Done.
Done. And they say, yeah, but we need to look out for other variants. Fucking don't make another fucking variant.
So I think we can agree it's possible. The probability.
Nah, it'll be weaker either way.
Yeah.
It'll be weaker either way because it loses energy. Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's like, what other plausible?
Right? It's a very hot topic. Eh?
Now I'm just saying, what other plausible hypothesis is there that's around? Because from their hypothesis, no, it just jumped around from a guy who, I don't know if he traveled through Europe, but we haven't found another trace of it in Europe. Oh, but Europe is not reporting. Europe doesn't report! Don't fucking. Yeah, you know, South Africa is reporting faster than Europe. No, South Africa, the thing is that South Africa, you know, we rush to report, and these other countries, South Africa being the first country, running number one, saying, yo, we got all that fast. Yeah, we are the scriptures.
Yeah.
You understand? Clean, no corruption. What's that? South Africa? I don't know. Some how many bitches?
No,
I'm just saying, like how close. This theory of theirs. That's what we're told. The doctor, that's what you were told as well. That's what you. I'm just saying, that's what you were told.
What's that?
That's the Omicron variant. Yes, it came from South Africa or whatever. They tried to trace this guy. He traveled from Europe.
I didn't hear specifically where patient 0 was for Omicron.
They said that it could have been South Africa, Botswana, right?
Yeah, they did.
They said it passed between, but it definitely passed through South Africa.
That's what I remember.
It definitely passed through South Africa because you can't get through Botswana directly. You have to go through here first, right? Okay, so it came through South Africa. Okay, but the thing is that the spread of it, when the infection rate was going through the roof and everything else, why was that in South Africa so much if the virus was not in South Africa first? Because what happens with these variants is that the one goes ahead and then the new one, the more infectious one, then starts to, and then comes and overtakes it, right? And it overlaps, right? In those other countries, they were done with their cycles long before us because they were in the summer season. You must remember, we were about to go into our summer season. So they were done long time ago. Case rates was already down. This new Omicron variant was a new variant that they were scared of after having overcome Delta and everything and having vaccinated 70% of their populations and all this stuff. All of a sudden, South Africa's got this new variant. And now all of a sudden, we don't need vaccines anymore. Because people don't even want them. Now even vaccines are getting expired.
Yeah,
they're donated.
Yeah.
But no one wants them.
SMS.
But what do you need? Why do you need them? Because they got the Omicron anyway. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, because some people don't want the vaccines. I'm double jabbed. I'm getting my booster soon.
Yeah, I think we're all double jabbed.
Yeah, so look, I saw it was trending that, you know, the adverse reports.
Yeah.
And now people confuse that to say that, no, these are all the side effects. Well, yes, I guess. But it's not like all those side effects happen to one person. Those are all different people with all different side effects, and we don't know what all those different people had. You understand?
Yeah.
And that's that, man. That's that. You know, there's no real hullabaloo that needs to be made about it. You know, there's no real hullabaloo that needs to be made about it. So, I mean, beyond that, I mean, the guy who owns the LA Times came back to South Africa, trying to work on doing some labs. He's also one of like the leading vaccinologists.
Because you say he came from here, right?
Yeah. He's from PE. So, how do you say this? So, I mean, Bill Gates was here. The Crisp Lab is here. Omicron is here.
Hey, bro, we're just a small podcast. We're going to be paying legal fees and we're not really advisor.
Nah. Hey, man, you know, the thing about this thing of like, you know, people rushing to do lawsuits. I mean, like, even now, I just quote another lawsuit.
Is this the slicker one? How's that going, though?
Well, I mean, he just filed it. But, you know, I mean, I don't know where that tweet comes from. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a printout of something, like, you know what I mean? So, and even so, what does it say? Slick. Talk. TA Slick. Slicker. Which one? Oh no. obviously it must be slicker because if you read publications, then you'll be able to inherit the story. Also, if you read publications, which means the story is public knowledge. Okay. So now, if somebody out there put up a tweet of something that is public knowledge, how is that defamatory? It's been reported upon. You know, there's receipts for that. You know, he's complaining that he's being made to look like he's depressed and everything else. We watched you with Ricky Rick talking about how you were depressed from 2010 to 2013, which fits in with the timeline.
So when are you very popular?
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now, like, we have to now explain the inner details of things. Like, you know, I need to say, okay, no, I know this guy very well. How well do you know him? I know him, hey, too well. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, either or. If it's costly for me, it'll be more costly for you. You know, and I guess it's better than the Shimza one. I don't know if they're still pursuing that, but you know, we're ready for that one. But yeah, I mean, winning that means, you know, one recovers one's legal fees that one spent and everything else. So I mean, yeah, we need to win. We need to win. You know, we've spent a lot of money thwarting cases because none of them have actually gone to court yet. So anything.
Really?
Yeah, no.
Sure, hullabaloo and Twitter would
There's a
would
difference
leave
between a
you.
letter of demand. I know, but that's the thing, it's letter of demand. But this is the first one that's like, you know, coming. The other one was I settled it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So they thought, oh, okay. Oh, you're settling? Okay. It means that we can get it. Come get it. Come get it. Because when you want to get it and you get it the wrong way, you end up being dismissed with costs. Ish. You understand? And then all of a sudden the guy wins and the case and the clout and the L and you know, it's also a very dirty scandal. You know? Like guys like us, we don't have kids yet. You know, our kids are gonna watch our content growing up, and we're gonna see how their brains work. You know, yeah, they're gonna have to hold into our full detail. You understand? But to be actively living and discovering these things and have your kids also learning about them and reading, I mean, look what happened to Stokey T. I mean, niggas have said, no, you're threatening his kids. I'm not threatening his kids. He wrote an open letter, an apology letter, and he thanked his church or whatever. No, he said sorry to his church. He said sorry to his wife, his kids, and everything else. His kids go to school, and unfortunately, the kids at school, they got YouTube. They got Instagram. So if this thing is trending on Twitter, when the kids get to school, it's not even me, dog. I didn't do anything, dog. But you are trending. Like, yo, your dad is trending, bro.
Imagine.
Yeah, but I'm shy last night. You understand? So now people are like, oh, Nota, you're a bad guy. Why are you going for people's kids? No, I'm saying, guys, if you got kids, there's certain things don't get involved in. Don't wrestle with Nota in the mud. You understand? That's what they don't understand. Because maybe I take these weapons of mass destruction and I use them as a deterrent and I use them to destroy as well. And then sometimes I just pick on someone so that people watch me just bomb that place and then they say, you know what, let's not go for that guy.
Nota, do you know what I want to do today? I want to do the impossible, but I want to get you to say something positive about Casper and your best.
Unfortunately, there's nothing I can say right now. Until him and AKA get on that stage together and they make a record together and, you know, they put the beef aside, there's nothing positive that can be said right now, at the moment. And it's sad because you can see it's eating at him. And the first thing was like, you know, my first plan was to disempower him from a social media perspective. So what I had to do is that I had to now mirror him. So I had to become him.
Okay.
Yo, it was tough.
This is method acting. Okay.
Yeah, so now I have to become Casper. So I'm like, okay, fine. Who is Casper? Okay, clean. Okay, he's the biggest baller. He's the richest guy. Okay, clean. Now, yeah, I'm the richest nigga as well in the game. I'm the biggest mogul. Yeah, clean, sharp. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Obviously, that's the bravado he's trying to go. So if I mirror him, it's gonna cause an inevitable clash. And right now, the Nota versus Casper thing is much harder than the AKA versus Casper thing.
That's true. That AKA thing has died down a little bit.
It's died down. They don't even hit at each other anymore because it's like tired. Like we can't even subliminals. They don't work.
But Nota, why, dog? I mean, this guy is he's doing his thing. He's living his life.
Because this is a weapon of mass destruction, and I can't have a madman playing with nuclear bombs in front of my kids. I'm still gonna. The influence that he has. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The way he's got a weapon of mass destruction. I'm saying, if you know how to use Twitter, you're a very dangerous man. There's no one who knows how to use Twitter better than myself and Casper Nyovest.
You're right.
Dog, Casper Nyovest, that whole entire online thing and everything else, that was planned by a guy who's a friend of mine from when we were kids, Jude, writing it out. Yeah, like me and Rati used to study what social media is. We were kids who were planning how we're gonna run the world with the social media mastermind tool. I know how powerful this tool is. Like, you guys are thinking it's a joke. It's not a joke.
Oh, we know.
It's not a joke, bro.
Presidents have been overrun.
Yeah,
Donald Trump.
Gaddafi got killed.
No, we know.
Gaddafi got killed because the countries around him had Twitter. And then they had uprisings, and then the NATO forces could justify supporting the rebel forces to overthrow Gaddafi. And they killed they put a no-fly zone over there, and he couldn't fly. And then he had to be on the ground, and the rebels cornered him, and then they killed him and slaughtered him. Understand? That's how powerful this show, the Arab Spring. What about the Southern African Spring? Namibia is ready. Zimbabwe is ready. Mozambique has got too many problems because it's an ideological battle. Part of the Ottoman Empire extended all the way to Mozambique, which is the Arabs of the world. That's the Ottoman Empire. So part of it's extended. It crossed around Nubia, crossed around Ethiopia, back into Saudi Arabia, Yemen. All the way, Iran, all the way. Yeah. So those guys are radicalized and they're trying to claim back the Ottoman lands. They're trying to rebuild the Ottoman Empire so that they can create another sphere of power where they can align Islamic powers. But the Islamic powers have been fighting amongst themselves between the Shiites and the Sunnis the whole entire time, which divides their power. You know what I mean? Which is why Iraq would bomb Iran or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just the same religion, different. And funny thing is, if you look at South Africa, just by luck and just the way in which people migrated and moved, we've got the perfect balance of diversity for no one to have overwhelming power.
Explain that a little bit.
Like, black people can't overwhelm white people because black people are divided amongst tribes themselves, right? But none of those tribes can overwhelm any of the minority groups because it's not big enough. And other minority groups will see themselves as a target and they'll band together.
That is a fair point.
Understand? So we can't have the Zulu nationalism because there's not enough Zulus. Unfortunately. There's too many Sutus, too many Xhosas, too many Bedis, too many Tswanas, too many Vendas, too many Tsongas. Too many Afrikaners. Too many Grippers. It's just a whole entire hodgepodge. So we've got that unity that's created by that diversity, because that diversity means that we won't fall into the same traps that our neighbors have fallen into of tribalism, like we see in Zimbabwe. The reason that there's that whole migration is because of tribalism. It's tribalistic politics. The Shona elite run everything in Zimbabwe because they've been given power and capital by the white people who are still in charge of the economy. You know what I mean? All they did was pay people to be black faces and everything else and make Mugabe look good, but they're still in charge of the economy. The biggest tobacco guys, smugglers and exporters, because they also smuggle through our porous borders. The tobacco, the sharp cigarettes, whatever else people smoke these days. They just bought Tonga Tulip, which the CFO has just been charged with like a fraud and whatever case of like 1.5 or 1.8 billion or something like that. So already that's dirty money buying a dirty company and a whole lot of dirt being cleaned up in the sugar. You know what I mean? It's like we've got a lot to go up against. We've got a lot of opponents, right? But we've got the perfect potential to create the model economy for the Southern African region. And once we can do that, we can then move to use a common currency across the whole of Southern Africa. The using of an African dollar is not going to work. Africa's too vast, it's too wide.
Let's bring it back to you. So what is your plan in this phase of your life or your career? Because I see you mentioned the brands, the black brands, you're wearing more fire, you're going on a lot of local podcasts, you're championing that.
YGen. BYO memes, it's another.
YGen is
youngster. CBT, yeah.
So what's
Laduma.
This guy's all South African track. You're okay to accept the
cab.
Yeah.
No, they're Southern African.
Yeah,
no, it's American. I think Chinese.
Beats. So what is it? What are you on that whole? Are you trying to build up that? Are you trying to support?
No.
What is the whole thing?
What happened is that rap sold out. The music sold out. Belongs to the platforms now. So the only place where we actually have free speech as black people that we can protect is through podcasts. Hip hop was our thing. Before then it was jazz or whatever. You name it, blues. Everything. You name it. That was our expression, and now we've got this tool to express ourselves, and we need to use it. And we are seeing a lot of our opponents are fighting. I mean, I saw Jordan Peterson, who's a guy I watch for some of these things, but I mean, like today I saw that his whites can't help being racist. I mean,
sure.
He's seriously like, why are they fighting against critical race theory? What's wrong with teaching whites that their ancestors dominated the world through racism, and that's the reason why there's so much inequality today? And all the other races are fighting for their place under the sun, while white men pull the strings for global geopolitics. They run all the corporations which have got earnings bigger than our GDPs and stuff like that. So, I mean, like, what are you saying, man? Why are you fighting critical race theory? Like, or what harm will it do to your kid to tell them that their ancestors were super violent and everything else, and that the world has progressed and that we are able to live together, even though we've emerged from that violence where our grandfathers were killing each other? We can shake hands today and play sports and do all these things. Why are we trying to villainize it by teaching kids that their grandparents were racist? If we don't teach kids this critical race theory, then you get Prince William, who said something racist because he didn't get critical race theory, and it just came out of him. He didn't even. He didn't like what? It was a slip of the tongue. You know what I mean? That's not how I meant it. I've been quoted out of context. Like, there's no need to have this culture war, and now they're doing it, and you can see all the white podcasters in America, because obviously they're aligned with the conservative forces. And this is what I was saying when I went to Podcast and Chill with MacG, when I did my first interview there, and I said, the right-wing media built podcasting. Like, they are the ones, because there was the voice, there was the independent media. It wasn't part of the corporate media. No, the corporate media.
Okay.
No, don't stop calling it mainstream. Why do you call it mainstream? Why is it mainstream?
Because it's in the mainstream.
No, because it's owned by the corporations.
Mm.
So why don't you just call it corporate media?
Uh-huh.
Why are you lying about it? Why are you concealing?
Okay.
It's parents.
Hmm.
Why are you hiding the father?
Damn, that's a brand, dude. Yo, I feel like I'm on trial here.
No, I'm just saying, why are you hiding in the father? Why do you call it mainstream media? It's corporate media. It's the corporations.
Yeah.
It's a few corporations that decide what we're being told, how we're being programmed, and everything else.
Mm.
They're more powerful than governments. They're more powerful than the most powerful man in the world, the President of the United States of America.
Mm.
They can take him off Twitter.
Mm. So this is the space that you believe where we have that true authentic voice in terms of podcasting.
Yeah, this is the space where we need to create it. It's not about, I'm not predicting the future. I'm creating it. That's it. That's why I visit so many podcasts. I bring them content, I bring them numbers and everything else. I give them game. The people that are watching learn, they get encouraged. Okay, we can do it too. Okay, and then people understand, okay, this podcasting culture is just about having conversations and sharing ideas. It's just about having conversations. It's like, how can Nota do like 10 podcasts in a month? And all of them are like worth watching. It's just 10 different conversations and like, damn, this guy is just going and going and going and going and going. But that's because this guy just listens and 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 listens. And then people will be asking, why do you always have those earphones on? And then they say, but no, so you don't listen. And I'm like, nobody spends more hours listening than me.
Yeah, I heard you were listening to a podcast in that method of yours, that high
Double time, yeah.
double time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an actual thing. I didn't believe it, but actually
Yeah.
I not just see it.
That's it, because
Yeah.
otherwise you'll lose attention.
Yeah.
You understand? Your food will stop. You'll burn. And fuck it. Now, if you have been that fast, while you're cooking and everything else, you're moving fast.
But then why did you stop yours? Why did you stop your
No,
podcast?
that's the thing that people didn't understand, that I was just doing that podcast for Amy Zulu. I was putting her on.
Okay.
That's it, she's my homie. I wanted to make her famous so she could get influencer gigs. And now she's getting influencer gigs because I made her famous.
Mission accomplished.
It's very simple. You need to find someone in the game who's got a tag. And then you sit next to them, and then I give you a tag, and now all of a sudden she can go to events, she can do campaigns and all that stuff, and then she can get a bag.
And then what
She
happened?
got the look.
What happened? Yeah. What happened with your proposed show with Mac G in terms of the Nota show? Is that still gonna happen, or with the talent show?
I really wanted it to happen, I won't lie. Like, I really wanted it to happen, but I'm just gonna find one of the short list of 10 people. I'm gonna name my short list of 10 just to, probably give them all prizes for competing and everything else, and then just take the one and then show him how to do
But
this.
why didn't it happen? Because people wanted to see that. I wanted to see that.
You will see it.
Yeah.
You'll see the one person that I want to choose, and then we'll help them get on.
Okay.
I don't like the whole entire competition element. I just realized it's like, that's not actually what it needs to be about. The whole entire competition element is, you're a better artist than me, I need to get more votes than you, and then there's only one, and then we've got a new season, and then the next season it's the new winner, and we forgot the last winner, and we don't even know who won after the Heinz Winkler.
Yeah. Got you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So,
Almost.
no, not even joking.
You're being very, very kind, dog. You're being extremely kind.
Yeah, man, it's tough to basically have to take care of talent. You know what I mean? And I don't want to put myself in a position where I have to take care of talent anymore. Like, or anyone's life, or it's a whole person's life. And the thing is, they're not a kid or a baby. You can't control them. They're an adult. You know what I mean? So the reason I cut when I was done is to quit while you're ahead. I've proven I can do it. I know how to do it clean. And you know what, Mom? I've proven you can do it. And that's all I needed to prove. Because if I can prove that you can do it, then you do it. I've done it already.
Yeah.
You understand? And I've proven you can do it. So do it, And I've told you how I did it. So, be inspired and figure out your own master plan on how you're going to do it. As for the podcasting space and everything else, it's still maturing. Like I said on another podcast that, I waited for Casper and AKA to be done before I finished the card 2 and finished them. It's about timing. So when the time is right, when podcasting is where it needs to be in South Africa, trust me, I'll be better prepared than anybody.
And I don't doubt that at all, bro.
Yeah, I spend my time preparing. I mean, this is part of the preparations.
Yeah.
This is part of the preparations, as well. So, I'm thinking of a master plan.
It's brewing. You can see it's brewing. It's there.